Alright, so I have been grinding Dokkodo and I've put in 15 hours into this game, and I just wanted to now give my opinions and just my experience playing this game now that it's been a couple of days since it released. Now, I know some of you may be thinking, with 15 hours into the game, I must have really enjoyed it, and honestly, I feel like I have more negative things to say than positives, and I just always had this, I wouldn't even call it a talent, just like the ability to just turn my brain off when I'm playing a game regardless of what's happening in the game. So because my negatives are more than my positives, I think I'm just gonna start off with the negatives first and then lead into the positives. So my first negative thing that I could say about this game is the sheer amount of bugs that is in the combat itself and just within the game. So I know in every game bugs do happen, which is understandable. I'll never attack a game for having bugs, but this game's bugs are kind of game breaking, even with some of the weapons that you can use in the game. So for example, the Adachi, I never used the weapon, but I fought against it, and there's a skill that they use and it flings you into the air and you just take fall damage. So I was hit with the skill, I flew really high into the air, and once I land on the floor again, I was instantly dead. And it's not even just that sword, it's like a lot of the skills kind of bug you out. There's a skill in the game called takedown. If you grab anyone with it, if it's a boss, if it's another player, it breaks the character's shift lock. So now when a character goes to block or try to parry, you can kind of bypass their parry attempt, because they're not actually facing towards you, they're facing the other way, even though from that person's perspective they're facing and looking directly at you. Now early game, that's not immediately a problem because you won't get that skill till later on when you interact with Shrine and you start getting karma and all that stuff. But when it comes to the late game, when I'm pretty sure a lot of people will gravitate towards that skill itself, it breaks the game for everybody and just ruins the overall experience for people just fighting at high levels or just end game levels. But I could say the only positive of having that skill, if you're not cheesing or using it to bug another player, is you can bug an NPC. So the bosses and even this raid boss that you're gonna see me do here in a second, you can grab him and actually bug him, so now your attacks will be a lot more consistent because they can't parry you properly, which I wouldn't blame you guys for abusing with some of the AI in this game because they're extremely annoying, which leads me into my next complaint. Fighting multiple NPCs in this game is a fucking nightmare and I hate it. My main issue with it is the fact that there's no anti-gank. If you're fighting 3 of them, all 3 will sit there and attack you from different angles, and it makes it like damn near impossible to even get a parry off a lot of the time because you're getting attacked from the left, the right, forward. Like, you can't do all that at once. You have to choose which one you want to parry, and from what I can tell, there is no iframes while you're parrying somebody else. At least I didn't notice it, which is still annoying nonetheless. Even if you did get iframes, it still doesn't change the fact that you're getting ganked the entire time and you're getting hit from multiple directions, which makes it impossible and you're pretty much dead. Now, as you can see in the gameplay in the background, I am knocking a couple of them and I'm getting a little bit of a health pack each knock, but the issue is because the NPCs parry literally everything and it takes so much to even knock one of them down, it becomes impossible to get an execution off. So it becomes a pointless, endless fight because you can't get rid of any of them because the other ones will not stop hitting you. You don't get no iframes for your execution, and because of that, you can't get rid of them. So you have to knock all of them at the same time, which becomes a lot harder because there's such a short cooldown. The moment you knock somebody, they get right back up in 10 seconds. And within 10 seconds, sometimes you don't have enough time to knock the NPC because they parry every fucking thing. And there's a very simple solution to this problem. Since they're trying to make this game realistic, at least that's what it seems like to me, then have it to where if I knock somebody, they stay on the floor and they don't get back up. Because in real life, back in this time period, if you slice the nigga up and you cut him up, you're cutting his legs, his arms, and all that stuff, whatever, he's not getting back up after a 10-second break. He's done. He's on the floor and he's bleeding out, waiting to die. Like, that's just how it's supposed to be. I don't know why they made it so tedious and annoying in this game, which is like, it just pisses me off. Now, let me calm down because I can go on a whole rant about this, because like, that's how angry I got playing this. So my next issue with this game is the servers. It didn't matter where I was. I would always obviously look for NA servers because that's my region, but it didn't matter because if I was in Cali, New York, whatever other servers they have in NA in this game, it didn't matter. My ping was always in the high hundreds, and that never changed, not even a single time. And I'm not sure what's the case. I don't know if it was like a weird bug displaying like a name and it wasn't really that name, or I don't know what was going on. Like, I really don't get it. But it takes away from the experience for me, and I'm pretty sure it would for anybody else, because the main thing about this game, it's a fighting game. So obviously if your ping is high, you are not going to be able to parry or fight properly because you're experiencing everything with a lag. And that is a game-breaking experience. And I've had somebody in my last video in the comments express the same frustration and same issues that I was having, so I know it's not exclusive to me. It's like a thing in the game, and like I said, I don't know if it's something that's fixed now, but for the past couple days I have been experiencing this, and it's been very game breaking for me and just makes the game really unenjoyable. So for my next issue I have with this game is, honestly, I would say the map. I feel as if the map is really huge and there's really nothing else to add to it. It feels empty, and outside of the town where you get your bounty close to the spawn point, I feel like you don't run into anyone. So a lot of the times if you go to that second half of the map, I think it's called Nara, or even if you run away from the main town, you don't see anybody. It feels so empty and lifeless, and honestly I don't really know how I would fix that personally. Like, maybe add more quests that involves more players to step outside of the main town, or maybe just add a higher cap to how many players that can be in one server. It just feels like the map is just big and empty, and it just also just takes you out of it. A lot of times when I'm on the second half of the map, I forget that there's even other players in the game, or that I'm even playing a multiplayer game. It feels like I'm just in a solo world, and then I get jump scared by a player running up on me because they have a bounty on me. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of the map. Not that the map is ugly, it just seems like it's huge and lifeless, and that's my main issue with it. Now, for one of the main issues that I have with this game is honestly the lack of content. So after you beat the story, which is just a couple of boss fights and that's it, there's nothing to do. When you go to the dojo and you learn the skills for whatever weapon that you're trying to use, there's really nothing to do outside of fighting the Ronin NPCs and getting some drops from them, which I've never got anything good from them ever, and also just getting bounties on other players and just collecting money and buying gear and all that stuff. There's really nothing else to do in this game, is where I feel like this game falls flat, is that there is no end game content really besides this raid, which I can already solo. I've only done it once with a couple other players. Even then, because there's so many other people and we could hit each other, I didn't really do anything. So this is my first attempt at doing this raid and I soloed it. So outside of grinding raids and I guess getting money for bounties, there's really nothing else to do in the game. So there really is no content in the late game, and this issue can easily be fixed over time, so I'm not really trying to harp on this one for too long. Like, over time, if they keep updating the game and they stay consistent, a lot more content will be added. So this issue might not even matter a month from now, but at least for right now, as I'm making this video, it is an issue for me because I finished everything. So outside those negatives, for my positive, it's mainly the combat. I do like the map, so I guess I'll give that as a positive too. Even though I did say the map is too big and feels lifeless, it does look nice in my opinion. But besides the map, I do like the combat because it felt nostalgic for me, because it just kind of reminded me of For Honor. While playing it, I just kind of missed For Honor, so it was a more nostalgic feeling for me. If it wasn't so buggy, I'd probably love it a lot more, and if I wasn't lagging all the time, I would also like it a lot more. But besides that, I don't think I have much other positives with the game because there's not really much content within the game. I guess another positive that I could give it is the boss fights. The boss fights were fun. Some of them felt like bullshit, especially with the hitboxes, but besides that, that, learning the patterns of the attacks and stuff like that was really fun for me personally. And besides that, those are the only positives that I really have about this game. If you guys agree with any of the takes I said, leave a comment down below. Tell me how you feel. Tell me if you agree, disagree, why not. But that's just how I feel about the game personally, and that's really just my experience with this game. So yeah, with that being said, I'll see y'all in the next one.